This is me Astik, an English language teacher and teacher educator. Today I am with a very short video, especially talking about how to start any class, particularly language class. My 2+ decade years experience and all the theoretical knowledge that I have gained, now I am going to share with you. Maybe it will be very beneficial to everyone teaching from nursery to tertiary level. So without taking time, let me start. The first important thing is that when you begin a class, you have to start with the recap. So enter the class being a smart appearances, clean the board, stretch your body, cough and do something like that, and then you recap. By recap, you make a revision of the previous lesson. So while revising the lesson, be very short. Don't take long time. You should not consume long time in a revision. So while recapping, there are two ways, especially that I apply. I generally recap my previous lesson in two ways. One is that I begin by asking questions randomly to some of the students. While asking question, I indicate a person. I always sound very friendly, encouraging, soothing, and touchy word so that they feel interested in responding to me. So that's the one way I do. Second is that when I recap, I start when I start, I might say, well, dear friends, yesterday we discussed this story. In this story, we discussed about the characters, we discussed about the theme, we discussed about the message. Okay, in the character, there were 3 characters. Of all the characters in the story, 3 characters. Can you tell me the name? Gentlemen, you, who are the characters? Okay, it has 2 messages we discussed. The first message was this. Do you know what second message we discussed? Can you tell? You please, something like that. So you can recap the previous lesson, but don't consume your enough time, maximum 5 to 7 minutes. That's all. Then you write the topic that you are going to discuss. Write it on the board. First start with page number, write the topic. If possible, write the message and the main content that you are going to deliver. When you write, then again you stretch your body, expression like something, whatever your unique expression have, you can use in the class. And then you start the expression. Well, gentlemen, well, dear friend, shall we begin? It's okay. Can I begin? Or something like that. You can use the expression like that. Then, when you start your lecture should continue more than 10 to 12 minutes. Your lectures never should be lengthy one. Maximum 10 to 12 minutes. And after each 10 and 12 minutes, your delivery, your session should be interrupted by question answer. Again, same thing. You deliver lesson for 10 to 12 minutes and then you raise a question. Again, ask the question randomly, but very polite, indicating with a polite words, calling by name. Not always by you, something like that. Gentlemen, Mr. Ram, Mr. Sam, Mr. Mohan, or something like that. You can indicate and then ask him or her to respond. When you ask the questions should all be based on the lecture discussed, content interpreted, or something defined that you do. Again you start the lesson, but the main message should be duly acknowledged and duly focused. When you focus the main points, main contents, you should use your body language. Okay, if you are talking the 3 main things, you always said, yes, the first thing is this. We are going to talk the first thing. Second thing that. Third thing that. What are the three things? This, that is this, something like that. You can do that. Alright? Then again you continue for 10 to 12 minutes. Again, that should be interrupted. Your session, your delivery should be interrupted by the task. Not always the question answer. It should have some, you should have already made up the mind about, task. You should give some tasks. The task should be, again, interesting, informative, and meaningful. If the task is informative but not interesting, don't do that. Let's say if you're talking about, corruption, but the students do not like the topic, why should you talk about it? So it should touch their heart and mind so that they will have some interest and they will show some interest. It's so interesting. But interesting doesn't mean all the odd things, unnecessary things. It should be related, it should be informative. That means it should be based on the task that you have designed, the content you have delivered, the purpose of the lesson that you have already set up in the mind, or the thing you have described, lesson you have taught, and blah blah blah, this thing. The task should be that one, and it should be meaningful. If the task is interesting, if it is informative but not meaningful, what's the meaning? So it should be meaningful. But while designing the task, right, again, your task should have based on two things: creativity, their creativity, and their critical thinking. If you design a task and if it doesn't require their creativity and critical thinking, don't do that. So they should have this should apply their mind. This should take some time in thinking. Maybe asking their friend what could be the answer. Maybe taking suggestion. Maybe taking a kind of help. So that is very essential to do that. But tasks never should always not should be the oral one. When you deliver lesson, they will listen. When you ask the question, they will respond. So they'll be listening, they'll be speaking. The task should be related to writing. Like you have discussed about the characters, ask them, okay, you write the three things, if you are in that character, what would you do? Write three things. They'll write, okay, number one, if I were, you can write, okay. But when you give the question, you design the question in such a way that there'll be a scaffolding, support. Like you say, okay, if I were in that position, I would do this. Okay, next point, what you would do that? What you would do that? So first, second, third, something like that. So they need to think what will be their, what would be the answer? How could they solve the problem? How could bring the solution to the task? So they will need their mind, right? So and they should write. So writing is there, critical thinking is there, all right? And then again, when you respond, never say wrong to anyone. Even if the students commit wrong, if their response is not right, just say, okay, nice, good. You could, if you had written this, that would have been much better. Or you could have diverted answer that way. You could have written this way. I think you became much theoretical. You are not very much practical. Think about your own context or something like that. You can respond. But again, when you deliver the lesson, it should be the simplest language ever you can use. And before you conclude, at the end of concluding, you should not consume whole time in concluding. You should not take the last second. You conclude the lesson before the time is stipulated. Keep some portion of time, some time for them to reflect. And then you must have 5 to 7 minutes time. You ask some of the students to come to the front, to the class, and ask them, okay, I hope you have a good, you understood well. Can you review what we discussed yesterday? What were the main points? Just tell the points, this, something like that. You can inquire. If they feel same, just pat on the back. Tell, no, I know you are a very smart guy. You can do that. Why are you feeling shy? See, your friend did well. You also tell them. Like that, you ask them to summarize and review. But again, Before, this whole lesson will depend on how well prepared you are. When preparing a lesson at least one day ago, you must keep in mind, if you are the students, would it be interesting? Would you understand if the teachers taught the way you are teaching? That's a very important thing to keep in mind. So be always very simple. When you give the example, don't give the example from very far from the real life. That should be based and that should relate to their practical and behavioral life. Give maximum example from their real life. In this way, you can, conduct a class, and you should repeat doing or practicing something new, innovative ideas. Thank you. Namaste. I'll come with next video with some new ideas. Thank you again.